Do you ever arrive someplace and you realize that there are people who are around you who seem to be far more prepared than you are? Whether it's going fishing and you arrive someplace, see everybody has kind of the right gear and the stool and equipment, or maybe last summer you went to a concert or tailgating and you find that people around you have everything that they need and you have maybe a blanket and that's about it, or you go camping and you look at the site next to you and they've got everything. They've got lights, they've got everything they need, and you've got a tent. So Jess and I were here a couple of days ago walking the path, and we noticed from a distance 2 cars pull up and about 4 or 5 people kind of get out, and they get their gear out and they just sit right by the lake, about 6 feet, 7 feet apart from each other, but they have everything. They've got their lawn chairs, they've got their water bottles, and they're just enjoying this conversation. And we walk by them and Jess kind of yells over and says, "You've got this down, don't you? You've done this before." And one of the ladies comes right back at her and says, "Honey, you'd be surprised at what we can do from a distance." You'd be surprised at what we can do from a distance. And maybe that's my hope for us today, not just as a church, but as families, as communities, students, older people, that we would surprise ourselves at what we can do from a distance. What can we do? We can pray, we can call, we can email, we can deliver groceries, we can send notes of encouragement to people who feel so isolated. What can we do? And can we surprise ourselves? I don't imagine the disciples were prepared for what would follow on that Palm Sunday long ago. As they entered into Jerusalem, things began to change quickly. The tension began to rise, and the risk became greater and greater as the opposition against Jesus developed. I don't think they were surprised, or I don't think they're ready for Thursday night when he was arrested, and certainly not for Good Friday when he was crucified. And even at the resurrection on Easter morn, I'm still not sure they're fully aware, prepared for what had just happened, until they began to look at Jesus, who had just overcome death itself and every force against love he had conquered. And maybe it was that reality that gave them, if the power living in Jesus lives in us, then we find ourselves surprised at what we can actually do by the power of Christ at work within us. And maybe that bolstered by the activation of the Spirit within them to go near and far with this good news, surprising the world with what love can do. So may we not wait until we are prepared, but allow God to prepare us right now. It has been said that God doesn't call the qualified, but qualifies the called. And you're called. You're called to go surprise the world with the love and power of Jesus Christ. Go out and do that.